Good morning. It is time for my April garden tour. April 29th, 2019. The garden is bursting forth, and if you are interested in growing nutrient-dense organic food in easy, low-cost ways, you are in the right place. Make sure you click that subscribe and click the bell to get notified of every new upload. Alright, let me turn the camera around and I'll show you how the garden is doing. Alright, here we are at the top side of the garden. Here's some kale that's gone to seed. Some onions. There's a row of garlic. You can see there's a big row of garlic. Big for me, anyways. There's some spinach that's gone to seed. There's my largest fig tree that I left one branch sort of along just in case it wanted to give me any brevas. I don't see any brevas on there yet, but there's still time. Let's see. Oh, here's the potatoes I planted the other day. That video should be up in the queue at the end of this video. But look at them, they're up already, growing like a weed. I planted them about a week and a half ago. Those are Yukon Golds. And I ordered some German butterballs, should be here any day, so I'm going to plant those as well. Alright, here's a green called rape. I've never planted that before. And some of them are actually a lot bigger than that one. I planted it all over the place. Alright, here's a tomato that I planted out. This is a mortgage lifter. The mortgage lifters did really well in my seed trays this year. Here is a California Wonder Pepper, Johnny's Beefsteak, Spanish Mammoth. I'm working on a tomato video, but for these I actually went on vacation and they should have been planted out about a week ago, but I left them outside to harden, but they got really big and spindly. So the roots for this thing are way over here, and I laid them sideways, so they're going to be in the nice, good topsoil the whole way down there. And they'll make roots all along that stem. So then it should give it a nice, strong start to the plant. Let's see, Spanish Mammoth Pepper. There's a Boxcar Willie. They didn't seed very well for me. I only had, I think, 2 plants of those. Here's a YOLO Wonder Pepper. I did pinch my pepper plants off, so they're bushed out pretty well. There's a Swiss Chard. There's some kale that's doing really well, going to seed. And I've actually trimmed the seed pods off to see if the plant would produce some more. There's my peach tree that grew up as a volunteer. Coming back here to show you my blackberry bush back here. I just tied this up because it was falling on the ground. But it's got lots and lots of blooms on there. Some blackberries starting to form there. So we're going to have some blackberries before long. Alright. Look at this Swiss chard. Let me pick a leaf and show you how big that is. I like eating the stems on this. The stems are almost like a celery. And they're nice and tender too. I did plant some watermelons out here. There's a pile there, there's a pile here. I put the plastic around it again and took the top off because something was digging up, probably digging for worms out here. My Goji Berry is doing really well. It's really gone wild, growing all over the place. Here's a cilantro plant. See if I missed anything. Well, I do have some other figs here that are just starting to recover from the winter. See that little bud right there? Let's see what this one is. Oh look, there's some coming up from the ground too. Or actually, that's from the where I trimmed it last fall. It's sprouting. Let me see what this is. I'm pretty sure I have a tag on here. Here it is. It is a yellow Lebanese from CNY Figgery. Alright. Looking forward to getting some figs from that hopefully this year, because it is starting to sprout out. Should have more of a root system developed than it did last year. Last year it was just a pop that I rooted. Alright, moving on. Here's another blackberry bush. This is one that I've never really gotten that many blackberries from. Here's some cucumbers that I planted under those little pots. Here's a JH Adriatic fig tree. You see, oh, this is a kiwi vine that I got at the hardware store and I put in the ground after the frost danger was over. So hopefully that's gonna do well. Let's see. Oh, guess what this is? This is the apple tree that I transplanted on a video not that long ago. Look how that thing's grown like crazy. And this is an apple tree that I planted from seed. Here's an overgrown, used to be a raised bed, but the sides have rotted or composted away. But it does have some sorrel here. Excuse me. Sorrel's gone to seed. And also has some arugula behind here going to seed. There's some nasturtium that I planted out because I planted that from seed. Here's my tree lettuce. That's gonna grow tall, but I like eating the side leaves. Some dinosaur kale. Look at my strawberries. Yum, yum, yum. Gonna have strawberries before long. This is a variety that produces big strawberries too, like the kind they have on the edible arrangements. So I just planted them last year, so this is the first year that we should get some production. Looking forward to that. Here's my wildflower bed that I just threw a wildflower mix in. Whoop, look at that, there's a Swiss chard in there too. Pretty big leaf. And there's also an apple tree I planted from seed in the middle of that. Alright. Here's a tomato. See what this tomato is. This is also a mortgage lifter. This one I planted way down deep. I took my postal digger and dug down, I think, about 18 inches for this one. Here's my red Malabar spinach coming up all by itself from the seed that dropped here last year. I'm gonna have to start thinning that out and eating it as I go. So we get some, just 1 or 2 plants on this wire I have up here for that. Here's onions that need to be picked and eaten. There's some traveling onions over here. Some more arugula going to seed. That has a pretty nice flower, doesn't it? Here's another peach tree that was a volunteer. The raspberries are growing. They're starting to produce raspberries here. Raspberry patch is looking really well. Really good. Here's some sugar peas. They're supposed to be going up this cattle panel here. Maybe they will here shortly. keep putting them over towards it. I already cut down my comfrey about a week ago, and it's already sprouted up again. Here's some asparagus that's gone to seed already, because it might be because I didn't catch it and eat it soon enough. Or if they're thin like this, you do let them go to seed. But if they're thick, like this one right there, looks like it's going to be thick enough to eat. Oh, here's one that's good to eat. That's a nice sized one to eat. I'll show you how to pick it. The roots are actually tied into a root ball down in the soil, so you want to get it at the root ball. So we're just going to rock it back and forth a little bit, pull on it, and then it gets it the whole way down at the root ball, which is down pretty deep. Yeah, that's a nice breakfast there. This is an herb, I'm not sure what it is. It's been here a very long time. Here's some cilantro that's going to seed. That cilantro really bolted fast. My bloody dock. Had some grass growing in it, but look at that bloody dock. It's doing really well. Some peppermint tea. This peppermint tea is sort of invasive, but you can pull it up fairly easily. Trying to think what that is. I think it might be oregano. Let's see, I planted some radishes in here. Looks like they are coming up. They've got a little pressure from the weeds here. Need to get some more wood chips on this. I can hardly call it a wood chip garden anymore because I don't have very many wood chips on it. I need to get that cilantro trimmed down and cut up, put in the freezer, because it's shading these radishes. Right, here's my, actually this is my largest fig tree, and I trimmed this back a whole bunch. I was really hoping I would get some brevas on here, but it doesn't look like I'm going to. Some more cilantro. This cilantro is probably 4 feet tall. Need to trim that back too, because I need to get in there and trim back my Jerusalem artichokes too, because I didn't harvest very much of that bed last year. So I've got a lot of sprouts coming up. But I need to get I have some fig starts back in here that are getting buried behind all the Jerusalem artichokes. See, there's a fig start. I just put a fig stick in the ground last year. And I was thinking I could graft some figs on top of here, which is what I'm planning to do. It was a bad time of the year for the garden to go on vacation, but we had a great vacation. We went to Amelia Island in Florida. Okay, well, I won't bore you anymore with this, but that's what I've got to do. I've got to dig these trees out of here so they won't die for lack of sun. I think that thing up here is a turnip green. Oh, and there's a fig tree right underneath that too. Sorry to bore you, this isn't really part of the tour, is it? But since I'm here, I'm gonna go ahead and pull these out so they start getting a little more sun. Excuse me. Guess I have my, excuse me, my fig tree nursery a little close to these Jerusalem artichokes. Jerusalem artichokes, of course, like to go wild, but you just knock them off a couple times and they don't grow. See, there's another fig tree here. All right, back to the tour. Here's some more garlic. There's some red Russian kale. Another spot where I planted blackberries last year. They look like they're starting to produce well. Some speckled lettuce. This is one of my favorite lettuce varieties too. It's good. Here's some curly leaf kale, which is going to seed. Might try trimming that back. Here's some catnip, which is a huge plant. It's all over the place. I should trim that back too. How about this clematis? The clematis are doing really well. Excuse me, I got a leaf in my throat. I did my persimmon tree. Looks like it's starting to get some persimmon buds there. Here's one of my apple trees. This is a Gala Apple. It looks like it might have got some frost damage, because those buds should turn into apples, but they're not going to. Looks like they got killed. They might have caught a late frost. Looks like I'm not going to get any apples from it this year. Oh well, the tree will be able to grow and be ready for next year. Unless that's an apple forming there. I'm not quite sure on that one. Maybe we'll get a couple apples. We'll see. Show you this other clematis. That's beautiful. That's another one. Alright, well I got a little long-winded on that tour, but I hope you enjoyed it. And look for that potato video on one of these up here, and then YouTube's going to give you a video that you are going to like up here, and the subscribe button will be over here. Alright, thanks for watching, and have a blessed day. We'll see you soon.